if there's anybody who doesn't play Nago who knows his matchup spread,
It's you.
it's me. Yeah, it's me. It's me. It's me. I had a whole Nago arc for like 2.5 months. I'm like, who beats Nago? Like, just try to like before going
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm just gonna play Millia against Nago anyway.
All right, what's up, everybody? Today, me and Lord Knight are going to be talking about whether or not you can solo main a character in Guilty Gear Strive. Is it competitively viable to just play a single character and still perform well in tournaments, win a major? I personally don't think you can, not with every character in this game, but I don't know. How do you feel? Okay.
The simple answer is that, in my opinion, is that if you play a tournament viable character, then you can just play them, and if you don't play a tournament viable character, then you can't just play them, and it's really that simple. I sort of have a group of like 7 or 8 characters where I'm like, yeah, you can basically just play this character. You'll have a bad matchup or two, but like that's always been a thing in Guilty Gear and in anime games in general, where like you got like your one like 6-4 you gotta overcome, but besides that you're fine, type thing. If you play a character that's not in that group though, it might be a discussion you want to have, maybe.
Yeah, I really think it just depends on the character you play ultimately. I think like a good example would be Nago, actually. That's like a character I think a lot of people see as very top tier, super strong. You see him everywhere. But I actually think solo maining him has some flaws. I think like he'll lose to like maybe like Happy Chaos, for example. I think Faust beats him personally. I think Axel beats him.
No.
No.
No, trust me, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, like he's not like, and like Zato I think does like good versus him. Like I think it depends on the character. And you can solo main mostly. I feel like maybe like six or 7 characters, but not every character in the game. Honestly, I think there's a ton of matchups, even at like the top tier, where they lose to like a mid tier, or like a mid tier like kind of fights them, and I think that's like a kind of a cool thing about the game, honestly, in terms of its balance.
Yeah, that's why I kind of said like for the tournament relevant characters, because like technically I agree with you. There's probably like only like 6 or 7 characters you can solo main, but I kind of expanded out to like between 8 and 10, because you have to consider what's common to like actually play against. So for example, like I agree with you, like Faust probably has like an advantage over Nago, but when are you gonna fight Faust in tournament? It's not that common.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare, right? As opposed to the opposite, where like when you were going through matchups, you're like, yeah, this character has an advantage against Nago, and I was like, or like no, or If there's anybody who doesn't play Nago who knows his matchup spread,
It's you.
it's me. Yeah, it's me. It's me. I had a whole Nago arc for like 2.5 months. I'm like, who beats Nago? Like, just try to like before going like, you know what? I'm just gonna play Millia against Nago anyway. But yeah, he despite those problems, he's still a character I think you can play alone, because
Okay.
in the tournament relevant group he does have a like disadvantage matchup, but it's still not a big deal. Like overall, his overall spread of matchups is pretty good, especially considering what you'll probably run into.
True, yeah.
Where the opposite is like, I'm ready for the Millia downplay stuff to come, where like Millia has like 9 bad matchups or so. So it becomes I actually, like, by the way, I want to say I'm probably like the one of the people who's like started this, because like people have been talking about playing like after tournaments of like, man, like I want to like use this character against this character or something, but it hasn't really been done so far. The only people who I've seen it is Tempest playing Leo and May, and actually playing Leo like 80% of tournaments when he's a known May main, like he won ECT with May, for example, and then me playing Axel, where I picked him, and it wasn't even ready. Like it wasn't like I grinded Axel for months. I played Axel for 3 weeks and I picked him in tournament. Like I was like, this is what he's here for, so I'm going to do it if it happens, right? In that case, if you're in the group where you have a character that's like not relevant for tournaments, so in my opinion it's around like mid-tier or lower-ish, then you have to really have an honest discussion with yourself of like, why do you think your character has a disadvantage, and then go from there. So For a lot of personally, a lot of Millia matchups I think are disadvantaged. I think it's just because of risk return. So I'm actually pretty cool with playing them. Like May's a good example, Nago's a good example. Like I'm cool with it. But then there are others where it's like when you look at their tools versus your tools and like the situations that can happen and like how resources work between the two characters, you're just like, holy shit, this fucking
It's rough.
sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
rough.
I don't want to do it, right? And that's kind of how I'm looking at it, right? So she has a lot of like slight disadvantage, and then like only a couple of like these are
Like
bad.
this is impossible. Like
Yeah. So in the
no.
end, I'm like, I'll do the classic, let's endure, but then for these couple, let's pick other characters for now.
Yeah, I also think
Yeah.
it's kind of a byproduct of just how like competitive this game is. Like you're saying you should look at the field of characters that are being played, but there's a ton of just strong players in the field, right? I think maybe I wouldn't have felt this way for maybe past Guilty Gears. But I think the games are also pretty different too. We were
Big
talking
factor.
like earlier about how I think maybe this game might have more of like a top tier, high tier character losing to maybe a tier or like a tier under, and that's like more rare in past Guilty Gears and like other anime games. I always think it like an interesting matchup was like in BlazBlue Calamity Trigger. It was Calamity Trigger Bang versus New 13. New 13 was like broken like top tier character, and Bang sucked. But Bang like had like an okay matchup just because he could do like air dash poison nail and like some other stuff.
That game had a
And
lot of interesting matchups actually. Now that you bring it up.
yeah,
Rachel Lychee was one where Lychee was
hmm
even with Rachel. There's Carl Noel.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, no, Carl Noel. I actually played Noel against Carl because Lychee can't. Lychee literally can't. It's like, it's like there was a law that she like can't hurt him. Like you just can't combo him because he's too small. His hitbox is really funky, and they didn't know how to make Lychee back in the day. So like since the 6C loop was really easy on him, and you could mash out of some of his 50/50s because of the way 2D worked, I was like, well. It wasn't a bad matchup. Like it saved me a couple of times playing Noel against Carl. And by the way, for people watching, I hate Noel a lot. So that tells you how far I was willing to go to take out Carl. Because I really hate Noel.
The character was the devil.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think it's interesting when like the random like character you wouldn't expect can like fight the higher tier character. And with Faust, like I'm trying to see like where he sits like in the meta in that sense, right? Or like where is his value? Because I don't think Faust is like a top 5 character or anything, but I think he's like solid and still pretty good, and he has like value in some of the characters that he does fight. So I think it's interesting when like it almost feels like a trading card game, like, oh, you're gonna play this card, I'm gonna play this character. Hey, oh, you're gonna play that character, I'm gonna play that. I feel like that kind of thing is doable in Strive, honestly. Players just aren't doing it, like you said.
Yeah. As far as like for the game, I still don't really expect people to do it a lot because like the people who are performing the most consistently, so there's a lot of people who perform well, right? But the people who perform the most consistently, they're already playing the top tier, most stable tournament characters, so they don't really have a reason to like play other characters. Even in the case of like the rare, oh, I'm being counterpicked, like say like Leo Axel, like it's still worth it to still try to do it. It's just gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be hard,
Yeah.
Just like another thing that's gonna be hard. But like it's not like Leo loses to Axel. It's just harder than like some other option that someone might pick. That's all it is. So kind of in the end, like in my head, it's like if you play like around like let's say Nago, Leo, Ram, Soul, Geo, Geo, HC.
Yeah.
Maybe like also throw in there. May, like if you play like those characters, like you're probably pretty good, and you could just play them. Another factor, because you mentioned old games, especially Guilty Gear, it just and you gotta again shaking hands with the boomers every chance I get, right? It's just really fucking hard to learn characters in old Guilty Gear. Like it really does take a long time to learn a character to to reach a competitive level
yeah.
with a character in Guilty Gear, Guilty Gear XX and Guilty Gear Xrd, where depending on the character, like Geo, quite literally after being eliminated from NEC, I got some spicy water, and I just went to a room and played her, and like I was just playing her, right? And Faust similarly, I just kind of played him. Like some of the characters are easy enough, and everyone has the same Gatlings, and you've seen them being played enough that you can kind of just play them. Where like it's not very, it's probably like just like characters like Zato, Millia, Jacko, where you kind of like
Oh
have
man,
to like practice something like, oh, I can't just pick
yeah.
up and play them. I gotta like learn these things and how things work so I can make the character actually work, you know?
Yeah, it definitely depends on
Hmm.
like the game and the characters, like you
Hmm.
said. I think Smash is actually like a good example. I see
Oh,
well,
huh.
when I played Smash competitively, like Smash 4 a lot, so many people had pocket characters. Like it was insane, and it would always be like, oh, I play like in Smash 4, it was always Pocket Cloud, and it was just easy. Like you could learn like these top players. A majority of the time could just learn the character and like be better than people who like made the character in like a day or something, you know?
Hmm.
And that's just like isn't the case depending on like how hard the fighting game is and how hard the character, like how much homework you have to do for that character. And in Strive, I think you could do it. Like I feel like you could just you could pick up a Soul, you could pick up a Leo. Like I don't know, I don't think it's like that hard. You could pick up a Geo even.
I mean, I know a guy who plays like 10 characters in this game.
Mm-hmm. Me
Crazy.
too.
Yeah. All right, so let us know what you guys think. Multi-characters, one main. How do you guys feel? As usual, leave any questions in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace out.